East Hampton Village, DRB, we are live.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I call to order the Design Review Board for Tuesday, June 17, 2025. We are going to take roll call. So,
Chair Robert Caruso.
here.
Vice Chair Kristen Corwin. Here. Member Cheryl Dayton.
Here.
Member Ann Duffy.
Here.
Member Susan Davies.
Here.
Member Catherine Davis.
Here.
Member Heather Barris is absent. Village Attorney Tim Hill.
Here by Zoom.
Good morning. The first item on our agenda are the minutes of May 20th. Are there any corrections or questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve. Do I have that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Cheryl, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is the Historic District, Gaspard Day at 209 Main Street. Is the applicant present? Yes, thank you. Could you take the podium, introduce yourself, and tell us what you'd like to do?
Good morning, Elizabeth Baldwin from Essex, Hefner and Angel on behalf of the applicant Gaspard Druzzi. I actually have updated plans after discussions with Billy. We wanted to clarify where the existing hedge ends and where the proposed new hedge will be extended, and we also wanted to clarify the widths as far as how wide we have as the property currently exists. I'm sure if the board visited the site recently, there's gravel has been put down there, and so while on the, I think Billy had seen a survey, the survey will need to be updated to depict the widths that are actually there now. But Chris DeSuno has updated his site plan. He went to the site and he did measure with lasers to confirm the fact that this is the correct width. So I wanted to hand that to the board.
Thank you. This is the latest. Thank you.
One other minor housekeeping in case the board was questioning. There is the Butler residence, which is that small little house to the, I guess, south of the flag lot on the opposite side of where the Maidstone is. Jenny Baker, the owner of that property, we did get a sign off on this application from her. I do have that to add to the record in case anybody was concerned about that. So while this application is entirely on our property, we just didn't want there to be any concern about the use of hers. Okay. As the board knows, the applicant's property is a flag lot, 209 Main Street. North of the applicant's flag is the Maidstone Inn, which is a commercial property. Which has access rights. There's an access easement for ingress and egress to Main Street over the portion of the flag lot. As I said before, the property to the south is the Butler residence. The applicant delineated personal driveway does not begin until approximately 180 feet from Main Street. So that whole area from where his gate is to Main Street is basically one big open gravel area. And unfortunately, over the last few years, as the Maidstone Inn has become more popular in the nighttime especially, the parking situation and the ingress and egress in that area has become overwhelming for my client. The results has been significant delays for his access to his residence, including sometimes having to get into the valet line to just get into his own residence, and the inability to exit his driveway when he wants to, and having to wait for cars to be moved around and things to just be able to exit his driveway. But the biggest concern and the greatest concern for him is the safety concerns of his, he has a son who has epilepsy, and the biggest concern has been regarding emergency vehicle access and whether or not, if there is an emergency, which they did have last year, whether or not a an ambulance will be able to get in, or will the valets have to move car, this is the biggest concern, and this is the focus of this application. So Gaspard will speak to you directly about that issue, because I think he's going to be able to convey that, that great concern to you more directly. So what we are proposing now is what we think is a simple solution to help further delineate the access to his residential property, and also ultimately the Butler residence as well. So the project that we originally had submitted to the board and received a turn down letter for a project that did involve all three properties, Maidstone, our property, and the Butler residence. But we got our turn down letter, and everybody had signed off on that application, but it just became too cumbersome with the commercial property next door, and we just wanted to focus on our residential property and do as minimal work as possible. And the solution was to just plant, extend his existing vegetation and just extend it down into that access easement while still maintaining a 20-foot wide access for the Maidstone to continue their ingress and egress and whatever they need to do over there, while extending that delineation down to notify patrons of the Maidstone and to help the valets be aware of, that there is a private residence here. I don't think people necessarily know that there's a private residence there. I think this will make it clear to allow cars to come in and out, and for him to be able to come in and out of his driveway when he would like to, without having to get help from any valet service or anything like that. And also, most importantly, to allow emergency services to come through.
And I do think that was one of the problems for many years, that you really couldn't, the poor house on the left was never delineated.
Right.
So you couldn't tell, where does one property begin, or did the Maidstone actually own that property? So that was always very confusing.
Right. And so the Maidstone has an
Like one property.
easement access over it, but he technically owns that width of that flag to Main Street.
Yes.
And so so now he's simply planting, it's going to be laurels that will help delineate.
Exactly.
And we updated, as you see in front of you, we've updated that plan. And the biggest thing is, I know Billy was concerned about emergency access, and that is the point of this whole application, is emergency access. And we want to make sure that our clients have that ability to access their property when needed, and emergency vehicles will have the ability to get there when needed as quick as possible.
Exactly.
And so I just wanted to offer Gaspard the opportunity to just express his concerns and need and the urgency of this application.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Gaspard de Dreuzy. I hope you can understand my accent. I'm French, but I've been a resident of East Hampton for the last few years with my wife and my two kids. And I just wanted to maybe insist and clarify on one point that is really the main driver, the main reason behind this application. As Beth said, the main reason behind the application is not landscaping, is really, safety and access. Over the last few years, we've had a lot of issues. My son, he's 9 years old, he has epilepsy. And over the last few years, we had to several times call 911 to take him to Southampton Hospital and then transfer him to Stony Brooks. Those brain seizures can be pretty dangerous, and we have to react in a very timely manner. Every minute counts. And so what happened is that last July, it was a Friday night around 7 p.m., 7 p.m. The driveway outside was completely busy with cars, so meaning we could not get out and get in the house because of the Maidstone. And my son had a seizure. So we had to manage everything, from the telephone with the hospital. We administered the emergency medication. He got fine, so we didn't need to call 911, touch on wood. But that was a pretty stressful situation. As you can imagine, with your kid having a pretty big brain seizure, my wife going a little emotional, as you can imagine, and me stressing a lot in terms of, if we call 911, we're just not going to be able to, either I cannot take my son to the hospital or those guys cannot come and pick him up. So that's kind of was the event when we decided that we really needed to do something. So we started working with Beth and her colleagues and really working with the Maidstone to try to find a solution. Initially, it was not an easy situation with the Maidstone because they basically told us, it doesn't really matter if you have to wait a few minutes so we can move, cars around. And obviously, that was not acceptable. Since then, it's been a much better process. This application that we're submitting today, we reviewed it with the owner of the Maidstone, the manager of the Maidstone. They know about it. They agreed with it. Obviously, the bakers on the other side, on the south side, reviewed it, agreed with it, signed the application. So everybody agrees with it. But the point that I really want to make sure that you guys understand is that there's a little bit of urgency because we're now in June. The traffic to the Maidstone is going up. Just last weekend, it was already a little bit of a problem in terms of, on Saturday night. And usually, comes July and August, those guys are pretty popular, so it's going to go up. And we're pretty stressed about that situation. So the reason why we're here today is to try to get something approved as soon as possible so we can at least solve this situation that everybody agrees on so that we can avoid a redo of last summer. That's really our goal. So there's a little bit of urgency and just wanted to insist on that. We submitted an application before, with the Maidstone and the bakers. This is a much bigger project. This was a much bigger project. This is kind of a light version of it. So we could try to address the urgency of the situation and hopefully, we can avoid again a redo of last summer, which was not good and a little bit, I would say, dangerous for us. So that's what I wanted to insist on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Billy, would you like to comment on?
Hey, will make a big difference.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Billy Hajak for the village. The application before you is, it's pretty unique in that it's within the historic district and it's residential property, but their easement is for commercial use. So it's a little bit unique in that regard. They did propose to design the island or plantings in a way that does not require your approval for historic district because the historic district guidelines only regulate landscaping within 10 feet of the front property line or from Main Street. The wetland setbacks from Town Pond, which is across the street, are 150 feet. So they've designed it to not require a wetland permit, which is a good thing. And so the only jurisdiction I think the board has here is essentially like a minor miscellaneous, we call it, or site plan review. And that's purely because the commercial property benefits from an easement. So the only items I think the board is really focused at looking at is ensuring the landscaping is appropriate. You like the style of the plantings, and we have to ensure that they maintain the proper access. So a commercial property requires a 20-foot aisle. Residential property requires a 12-foot wide aisle. I think the latest plan, I haven't seen it, but was updated to show that. The survey that was submitted with the application, it may not have been up to date fully. So my recommendation, if the board is inclined to approve this, would be to condition it on submission of an as-built survey showing the island and the improvements to ensure that we maintain the 20-foot access for the commercial property and then the 12-foot wide access for the residential property. I hope it solves their issues, but, you know, I don't know if it's going to necessarily prevent people from double parking or obstructing the, you know, the sort of the mouth or the apron of it, but I think
So
that's
they
going to
would be required to submit what type of application?
a final survey, an
Final
as-built survey.
survey,
But we can approve it before that?
yes.
Billy, can I ask a question?
Sure.
I don't know that much about traffic patterns. Is there any concern that this would make things worse?
It's going to require the Maidstone to change their drop-off pattern for certain. I mean, I think that's part of the driving force is that their valet service is obstructing, you know, people are double parking, people are stopping for the valet. So the Maidstone is going to have to do something to adjust how people drop off.
It looks like they'd only be able to drive one way now.
I think Maidstone should have 20 feet of aisle width, if it's unobstructed, is for two-way traffic. So they will be able to pass two cars. They do have pre-existing head-in parking. I don't know if it's not delineated on Chris's plan, I don't think, although I haven't seen it, but on the survey, it shows the head-in parking that existed, and that straddles the line. So it's partly on Maidstone's property, partly within the easement. You know, whether or not that's pre-existing or what rights the Maidstone has to that, I would leave that up to the attorneys to decide, but they're going to lose that parking, and they're going to have to figure out some way to not obstruct their access right now, so.
But they have a large enough parking lot to decide all that, and I mean, going there many times, it's a large area. But
Yeah, there's a lot behind
in the back.
in the back, yeah.
There's a
that
lot.
Was just resurfaced.
Yeah, they just have to redo it. I mean, redesign it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from Billy? No? Okay, board members, any questions about this application? If not, then I would suggest that we do receive the final survey, and, but I would go ahead and, do I have a motion to approve this application?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you
Wait,
very
is it-
much. Do I have a second?
Is it a motion contingent on
Contingent, this motion is contingent upon the final survey. And do I have a second? All in favor? Great, and good luck with that, yes. And just maintain it and,
So just to be clear, so we can do the work, and then after the work's finished, we'll submit the as-built for review. Okay,
yes, okay?
thank you so
Is that
much.
okay? Good luck with that, yes. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it a lot.
You all, thank you. The next application is Sochi Builders at 30 Race Lane. Is the applicant present? Good morning.
Morning. Shannon McCaffrey, Dewey's Planning. Since the last time I was here to discuss this application, we have redesigned. We will no longer be using the strip lighting that's built within the sign and are proposing to have a landscaping spotlight that faces directly at the sign. It'll be right at the sign so that there will be no spillage into the property, and also will not be facing towards the road to affect any spillage into the roadway. The lighting is proposed to be 2700 Kelvin, so it'll be a warm light that's in compliance with the village code. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions, board members?
light?
Just one light.
One light. Billy, any comments? No? Okay. I have no problem with that. Do I have a motion to approve the application?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Ann, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kate. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next thing is Crazy Pizza at 47 Montauk Highway. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Brian Luck. My colleague just stepped out a moment ago. We are here in connection with
Right,
the remodeling work we've done at Crazy Pizza at 47 Montauk Highway.
right. Yes. Well, I looked at it and I don't see any problem with it. Board members, any questions? Billy, any input? No? Okay.
What type of bulbs are going in the gooseneck? What wattage, or are they incandescent, are they LEDs? You're proposing gooseneck lamps,
I
correct?
would need to double check. I don't have that information. Alsoon can get that for us.
Yeah. It should be like about 2,700 and not higher, because
Okay.
higher means that, it's not a warm light, it's a bright light.
Okay, we would agree to warm lighting.
So I would just make the suggestion that it be like 2,700 Kelvin.
That's okay.
Yeah, so let's just go with that. That's a simple bulb. Yeah, okay. With that said, if we just put that in. Do I have a motion to approve the application?
There is the bulb,
Oh, yeah,
It was submitted to the board.
I thought it said 2,700.
2,400.
24, that's even better. Okay, so with this, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. The next item is East Hampton Square at 37 Newtown Lane. Sign lighting. Is the applicant present? Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you just explain what you'd like to do?
Sure, we've got two new directories that we're going to be putting in there. There's existing ones that we're replacing, and we wanted to just put a downlight to kind of wall wash the face of these LED, not these LEDs, of these directory boards. And what we have proposed is a linear LED fixture, 2700K. It's a wall wash fixture with a low angle, so it doesn't kind of throw a ton of light around. And it's going to be recessed in a custom hood that's on the top of the sign, so.
Can you introduce yourself? I don't.
Sure, I'm Will McLear, Motion Graphics.
Okay, any questions? Billy, any?
The specs that are submitted here say that this is a 3,500K fixture on what you submitted to us?
There was an updated one. Is that the Alcon fixture?
The Slimliner.
You have an
Yeah,
updated?
there's an updated one.
Don't have that, no. No, I don't have
It's a
that.
different unit.
Sorry, I have to step out for Department of Health, so I apologize, I missed it on phone here.
Okay. So with this, just double check.
Do you have the updated one?
I don't have a print, I just have it on my phone here, just a file.
Was there an updated color temperature?
Well, it's a simple change. Yeah.
Hi, good morning, board members, Billy Hajak for the Village. Yeah, I reviewed the original lighting materials and noticed that it was 3,500 Kelvin. I was emailing with Will.
Right.
And he emailed back the amended lighting fixture. It never made its way, I guess, to the board.
Oh, okay.
But it's still a strip type lighting.
Right.
It shows the detail of how it's supposed to be tucked in underneath the lip of the sign.
Yes.
And I guess it's like Will said, it's a whitewash type of fixture, and it is 2,700 Kelvin.
2,700. Okay, well, I have no problem with that. If it's just put it in the notes that the light will be 2,700 Kelvin. Okay. Any questions, board members? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve. Do I have that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Kristen. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have that motion?
Make a motion?
Cheryl, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you all. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.